According to spoilers for Young and the Restless, Faith Newman, Olivia Allen Lind, will be prosecuted for driving after intoxication. She was also driving without a license and stealing a truck from the ranch. The adolescent on the CBS soap series appears to be in a dire situation. And before everything is said and done, this plotline introduces Faith's new face. Since the accident, Faith Newman has received a lot of support from her parents. They are grateful that she is all right and that their prayers were heard. The rest of the family shares the same sentiments toward the problematic youngster. Young and the Restless spoilers suggest that everything has been forgiven and that they wish to move on. Faith still has to deal with the fallout from her bad decisions though. She is informed by Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, that she has to appear in court and answer to a judge. She also tells Faith that she will probably be given a community service sentence. According to teasers for Young and the Restless, she might have to pay a fine. Faith Newman's parents inform her that she will need to pay for her court settlement out of her own pocket. According to teasers for Young and the Restless, Faith will also need to recover physically and mentally. When the truck she was operating collided with a tree, she sustained multiple injuries. Due to her physical injuries, Faith Newman will have to go to outpatient therapy. In order to handle all of the recent trauma she has endured, her parents will also require that she go to individual treatment. Faith Newman will frequently visit the hospital due to all of the appointments. Spoilers for Young and the Restless suggest that this may be how Faith and Moses Winters, played by Jacob Aaron Gaines, spend more time together. The two may easily run into each other at the hospital where Moses is interning. At the hospital, the two have already met once. This appears to be the setting for their developing romance on Young and the Restless. According to teasers, Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, will shortly be exonerated of attempted murder charges. Faith Newman might reconsider her mind about her uncle if it is established that Chelsea Newman, played by Melissa Claire Egan, is responsible for the attempted poisoning. Her father forbade her from thanking him face-to-face for saving her life. For Faith, everything can change once the truth is known. Another indication that Sharon and Adam might get back together on Young and the Restless is Faith's forgiveness of Adam. Her mother has not previously shunned her because of her hatred for Adam, but this might make Sharon feel less guilty about being with Adam. The whole Newman family has thanked Adam for his part in Faith's mishap. Chaos, heartache, and redemption are commonplace in the world of the Young and the Restless, and this week Faith Newman must deal with the consequences of her own careless behavior. Although drama has always flourished in Genoa City, Faith's most recent downward spiral demonstrates that even the most adored Newman family members are powerless to escape the repercussions of their poor decisions. From her teenage rebellion to her latest decisions that have stunned her parents and fans, Faith, who is only 21, has already experienced a lifetime of mistakes and lessons. A seemingly innocuous choice quickly turns into a domino effect that will rock the Newman family as a whole. Two of Genoa City's most recognizable and complex individuals, Nick and Sharon Newman, cast a long shadow over Faith Newman's upbringing. Her life has always been under scrutiny, on camera, and the subject of rumors. Faith's identity has been intertwined with her parents' history of love, betrayal, and reconstruction since the day she was born into the chaos of Newman. Faith has been having a hard time defining herself apart from her family's heritage in recent weeks. Nick's overprotectiveness and Sharon's quiet strength have made her yearn for independence. She's sick of being the good Newman girl, constantly being reminded of Cassie's terrible destiny or being compared to Noah. She had been missing the thrill, the escape, and the appearance of independence that Faith found in Tanner, a charming newcomer with a rebellious streak and a flair for danger. But every decision has a cost in Genoa City. One impetuous night marked the beginning of Faith's downward spiral. She took her father's car without permission, skipped class, and went on what was billed as an adventure with Tanner and his pals. However, everything changed when that experience devolved into drunk driving, reckless behavior, and an accident close to Chancellor Park. Faith's reputation and her relationship with her family were destroyed, even though no one was gravely harmed. Nick was enraged. Sharon was devastated. The fact that his granddaughter could be so reckless even astounded Victor Newman, the patriarch who had witnessed it all. Faith, what were you thinking? In the hospital waiting area, Nick yelled. Faith's tone faltered. All I wanted was to feel liberated. Only once. Nick's expression was a combination of anxiety and disappointment. Faith was more than simply his daughter to him. She served as a constant reminder of how swiftly life may pass. History seemed to be repeating itself, and he was still burdened by Cassie's death. Faith's elder sister, Cassie Newman, who passed away tragically following a similar night of rebellion, was painfully compared by devoted admirers. The shockwaves that reverberated through the Newman family for decades were caused by Cassie's injury back then, which split Sharon and Nick apart. Sharon's expression says it all. She's repeating her worst nightmare as Faith lies in her hospital bed, suffering from minor wounds but a serious wake-up call. You're fortunate to be alive, Sharon says in a shaky whisper. But you won't always be saved by luck. Faith is more affected emotionally by that line than by any form of discipline. It has nothing to do with suspending her or taking away her driving privileges. It's about acknowledging that the sane family, which has been attempting to mend for years, was almost destroyed by her decisions. Following Faith's discharge from the hospital, her father demands more severe penalties than just lectures. Nick asks Chance Chancellor, who is currently the deputy chief of Genoa City, for a favor. During their private meeting, Chance informs Faith, "I've seen what bad choices do to good people. Sometimes facing your mistakes head-on rather than running away from them is the best course of action." At the Genoa City Youth Center, where troubled youth frequently find their turning point, Faith receives community service hours. She initially rolls her eyes, assuming it's just another kind of discipline. However, she gains a fresh perspective on her own advantages when she begins working with children who have experienced addiction, neglect, and loss. After years of adversity, she meets Zoe, a girl who is having a hard time staying clean. One of the most touching new aspects in the show is their relationship. "You have people who love you no matter what," Zoe says to Faith. "Don't waste that." Long after Faith returns home, those words continue to reverberate in her heart. The Newman family is unable to agree on how to deal with Faith's mistakes while she attempts to repair herself. Victor wants to send Faith to a private academy for structure and discipline because he believes in tough love. Nicholas says she must understand consequences. "We teach control to protect our family." But Nick believes that excluding Faith will worsen the situation. He contends she needs guidance, not exile. Sharon, who is conflicted, ends up speaking out for compassion. She informs Victor she doesn't need to be punished like a criminal. She must recover. As the argument gets so hot, Nikki intervenes and tells Victor that he was also a mistake maker. Nikki whispers, "You can't scare her into being a Newman. You can only love her until she matures." Tanner, the man who initiated everything, reappears as Faith attempts to move on. He says he's changed and apologizes, but Faith knows he hasn't learnt anything when she witnesses him leaving Crimson Lights with another female. She doesn't follow him this time. She doesn't spiral. Rather, she whispers to herself, "Not this time," as she makes her way home by herself in the pouring rain. Sharon is waiting with 2 mugs of tea when she gets there. No lectures, no letdown, simply love. "Do you believe that individuals like us can change?" Faith inquires. Sharon grinned. "Being flawless isn't the goal of change. The goal is to make a better decision the following time." Fans will remember the silent conversation as one of the most poignant mother-daughter sequences on The Young and the Restless in years. It's a time of introspection, growth, and bonding. Victor Newman isn't finished attempting to fix the situation, either. He sets up Faith's internship at Newman Enterprises behind everyone's back because he thinks that exposing her to the family business will teach her responsibility. Faith first despises the notion. Meetings at work, rigid clothing standards, and constant reminders that she is Victor's granddaughter. However, she notices something unusual when she is tasked with shadowing Nikki. Graced strength. "You can make mistakes, Faith," Nikki says to her. "What you create later is what counts." Faith begins to put in effort. She has a talent for branding and public relations, particularly when it comes to charitable endeavors, like one that aids in teen rehabilitation programs. She gradually starts turning her remorse into a goal. Secrets are never kept hidden in Genoa City, of course. A big scandal is sparked when a gossip blogger discovers Faith's medical report and publishes about her wild night. The headlines suddenly feature Faith again. Newman Harris in drunken crash. Crimson Lights and Newman Enterprises are under pressure from the media hysteria. There are boycotts of Sharon's company. Nick's reputation as a leader in the community suffers. Faith's remorse suddenly reappears. She sobs to her mother. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen." "I know," says Sharon, giving her a firm hug. This time, however, we will confront it collectively rather than separately. Faith undergoes a metamorphosis in the ensuing weeks. She is a public speaker on accountability. She even discussed the perils of making careless decisions on GC Buzz. Even Victor is surprised by her bravery. At dinner, he informs the family that this young lady has proven that Newman blood isn't about perfection. Resilience is key. Faith smiles sheepishly, aware that she still has a long way to go, but for the first time, she is facing the challenges head-on. A new love interest. There are rumors that Faith may fall in love with a mystery new employee of Chancellor Winters who is mature, grounded, and prepared to support her development. A career path. As Faith finds her own voice, her internship at Newman Enterprises may turn into a permanent position, where she may conflict with Summer or even Victor. Family friction. Although Nick and Sharon are still together, Victor's domineering behaviors may cause new rifts in the family and put Faith's loyalty to the test. An unbelievable betrayal. It might turn out that Tanner has ties to one of Victor's business rivals, indicating that Faith's accident wasn't totally coincidental. Genoa City thrives on second chances, but Faith's story serves as a reminder that redemption calls for more than just words. It also calls for development, forbearance, and humility. The perennial young and the restless theme, that even the best hearts make bad decisions, is reflected in Faith Newman's story. But what really makes them who they are is how they rise from the ashes. Faith is now her own woman, powerful, flawed, and growing up. She is no longer Cassie's terrible echo. Her bravery in facing her faults defines her, not her mistakes themselves. Sharon murmurs, "You did it, Faith," as she sees her daughter grin once more, this time with genuineness. "You made the right decision." Additionally, the wind in Genoa City carries a subdued feeling of tranquility, serving as a reminder that grace may flourish even in a town founded on scandal.